Today, we're exploring one of English football's most anticipated stadium transformations, Crystal Palace's bold plans to redevelop Selhurst Park. With the historic venue bursting at capacity and matchday demand at an all-time high, the Eagles stand ready to transform their century-old home into a modern 34,000-seat fortress. From the iconic main stand, designed by legendary architect Archibald Leach in 1924, to the cutting-edge glass-fronted structure that will honor the club's heritage, this is the story of how Crystal Palace is building a stadium worthy of South London's most passionate fan base. Let's get started. The history and heritage of Selhurst Park. Selhurst Park has been synonymous with Crystal Palace since 1924, making it one of English football's most enduring venues. The story begins in 1919, when the club initiated the purchase of a former brickfield site from the London, Brighton and South Coast Railway Company. After years of negotiations, the land was acquired in 1922 for £2,750. Construction by Humphreys of Kensington cost approximately £30,000, and the stadium was designed by Scottish architect Archibald Leach, the preeminent stadium designer of the era, responsible for iconic venues including Chelsea's Stamford Bridge and Arsenal's Highbury. Selhurst Park was officially opened by the Lord Mayor of London on August 30, 1924. The inaugural match saw Crystal Palace face the Wednesday, now Sheffield Wednesday, in front of 25,000 fans, though the occasion ended in a 1-0 defeat. At opening, only one stand existed, the main stand, which remains to this day, though it was unfinished due to industrial action at the time. The early decades saw steady development. In 1926, Selhurst Park hosted its first international match when England faced Wales. The stadium held events during the 1948 Summer Olympics and installed its first floodlights in 1953. The most significant transformation came in 1969 following Palace's promotion to the First Division, when the Arthur Waite stand was constructed. The main stand became all-seater in 1981, and in 1994, after the Taylor Report mandated all-seater configurations, the Holmesdale Terrace was replaced with a modern two-tier stand holding 8,500 fans. Selhurst Park's record attendance was set on May 11, 1979, when 51,482 fans witnessed Crystal Palace defeat Burnley 2-0 to clinch the Second Division Championship. After subsequent redevelopments and modern safety requirements, the current capacity stands at just 25,486, making it the fourth smallest stadium in the Premier League, behind only Brentford, Bournemouth, and Luton. For a club of Crystal Palace's stature and ambition, this capacity constraint has become increasingly problematic. The catalyst for transformation. After Mark Goldberg's ownership led to administration in 1999 and Simon Jordan's tenure ended with another administration in 2010, Crystal Palace faced potential liquidation. However, salvation arrived on June 1, 2010, the deadline day when the club would have ceased to exist. The CPFC 2010 consortium, led by lifelong supporter Steve Parish and comprising Stephen Browett, Martin Long, and Jeremy Hosking, completed a last-gasp takeover. Crucially, they secured not just the club, but also the freehold of Selhurst Park for £4 million, uniting the stadium and team under one company for the first time since 1998. Under Parish's chairmanship, Crystal Palace has stabilized as a Premier League club, reaching the 2016 FA Cup final and, remarkably, winning the 2025 FA Cup against Manchester City, the club's first major trophy. That historic victory was followed by lifting the Community Shield, and the Eagles qualified for European competition for the first time in their history. However, success on the pitch exposed a glaring problem off it. The demand for tickets at Selhurst Park is extraordinary. Every home match sells out, often weeks in advance, with thousands of supporters turned away each week. The financial implications are equally stark. Crystal Palace generated £13.8 million in matchday revenue during the 2023-24 season, a figure that significantly trails rivals with larger, more modern stadiums. In an era where infrastructure directly fuels on-field success, the Eagles faced a critical decision: expand or risk falling behind. The £200 million vision. Crystal Palace's redevelopment of Selhurst Park represents one of the most ambitious infrastructure projects in the club's 120-year history. Originally estimated at £75 million when plans were unveiled in 2017, the project cost has escalated dramatically due to inflation and rising construction material prices. By 2022, estimates had reached £150 million, and recent reports suggest the final cost will exceed £200 million. When complete, the stadium's capacity will rise from 25,486 to more than 34,000 fans, an increase of approximately 8,500 seats. This transformation centers on a complete rebuild of the main stand, the last remaining structure from Archibald Leitch's original 1924 design. The new main stand. The centerpiece of the redevelopment is the radical transformation of the main stand. Currently the stadium's smallest section at just 5,200 seats, it will be completely demolished and rebuilt as an imposing 5-story structure accommodating 13,500 fans, more than doubling its capacity. The architectural firm entrusted with bringing this vision to life is KSS Group, a London-based practice with extensive credentials in stadium design. KSS designed Liverpool's main stand expansion at Anfield, completed Brighton's Amex Stadium, and delivered projects across Europe, including Stade Océan in Le Havre, France, Europe's first energy-positive stadium. For Selhurst Park, KSS has crafted a design that honors the club's heritage while embracing modern aesthetics. The new stand will feature a striking all-glass frontage, a direct homage to the original Crystal Palace exhibition hall designed by Joseph Paxton and opened in 1851. A central vaulted arch bearing the famous eagle crest references Paxton's pioneering building, while eagle wings flank the 41-meter-tall structure, creating a dramatic architectural statement visible across South London. Inside, the stand will feature 3 tiers of seating. The lower tier maintains the intimate, close-to-pitch atmosphere Selhurst Park is famous for, while the upper tier curves in a semicircular formation. Between the seating tiers, a 4th corporate level houses 16 to 28 private boxes and approximately 2,500 hospitality seats, including one of Europe's first tunnel clubs, offering guests unprecedented behind-the-scenes access to view players in the tunnel and mixed zone. Beyond matchday facilities, the new stand will include a club museum, modern club shop, cafes and restaurants for year-round community use, and significantly enhanced disability access. The pitch will be extended by 4 meters, meeting requirements to host international football matches, securing the stadium's selection as a host venue for the 2035 Women's World Cup. The obstacles. Building a new main stand in residential South London presented significant challenges. One of the biggest hurdles involved 6 houses on Wooderson Close, located directly adjacent to the proposed construction site. After lengthy negotiations, Crystal Palace reached an agreement with Croydon Council to purchase the properties. Residents were rehoused, and by January 2026, demolition cleared the final major obstacle. Another critical barrier involved land owned by Sainsbury's supermarket. The club needed to acquire a small section of the car park adjacent to the stadium, a deal reportedly worth several million pounds that took years to finalize. The financing structure also evolved significantly. In December 2025, Crystal Palace secured a £125 million loan led by Goldman Sachs, replacing previous debt arrangements. This new facility offers more favorable terms, with a longer repayment period aligned with the stadium redevelopment timeline rather than broadcast revenue cycles. Timeline and financial impact. The timeline for this project has been meticulously planned to minimize disruption. According to Chairman Steve Parrish, visible construction work began in January 2026. Preliminary works had already been underway for months, including relocating power stations, constructing temporary dressing rooms beneath the Holmesdale Road stand, and clearing the site. The club decided to demolish the existing main stand entirely and rebuild from scratch rather than building around it. This approach allows for faster completion and reduces overall costs, though capacity will be temporarily reduced during construction. Main contractor Lendlease estimates construction will take between 27 and 30 months. This means the new main stand could reach operational completion during the 2026-27 season, with final touches continuing into early 2027-28. Throughout this period, Crystal Palace will continue playing at Selhurst Park. The financial case for this ambitious project is compelling. Crystal Palace generated approximately £13.8 million in matchday revenue during the 2023-24 season. Industry projections suggest the expanded stadium could increase annual matchday income to between £25 million and £30 million, a boost of approximately £12 million to £16 million per season. Conservative estimates indicate the new main stand alone could generate up to £15 million in additional annual revenue. Over the projected lifespan of the stand, these increases would amount to hundreds of millions of pounds, making the initial £200 million investment not just justifiable, but essential for the club's long-term competitiveness. For a club that has spent much of its history in the shadow of London's bigger teams, this transformation represents a statement of ambition, turning Selhurst Park into a venue that reflects the club's achievements and honors its passionate supporter base. And that's the full story of Crystal Palace's journey to transform Selhurst Park, from century-old heritage venue to modern Premier League fortress. After years of administration, near liquidation, and careful financial management, the Eagles are finally building a stadium worthy of their history and ambitions. With construction beginning in January 2026 and completion targeted for 2027-28, one thing is certain: the next chapter of Selhurst Park's story will be its most transformative yet. What do you think about the Eagles' expansion plans? Can KSS Group deliver a world-class stadium while preserving Selhurst Park's famous atmosphere and honoring its heritage? If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you don't miss anything, and click here to watch our deep dive into Newcastle's new $1.5 billion stadium. See you there in a second.